When injured workers contact us, often they have a lot of questions like, what is workers' compensation? What are my rights? What are my benefits? How can an attorney help? And that is what we're going to talk about today. Hi, my name is Kaplan Morrell. I'm an attorney with Kaplan Morrell. We've been helping injured and disabled workers in Colorado since 1997. I've been practicing law since 1995. What I do, it's all that I do. And as I usually tell people, it makes me very good at helping injured workers and very boring at parties. But in this video, we're going to talk about what are your rights when you've been injured on the job, what benefits can you get, and how can an attorney help you? It's a real common question, and one of the things that you should understand with workers' compensation is what it is and what it isn't. Workers' compensation is an insurance program that is created by the state legislatures, and it is a requirement for employers to have and carry workers' compensation insurance to pay for on-the-job injuries. And this has been the case since about 100 plus years. The idea being, hey, employers, if your employees are injured on the job, that's a cost of doing business and you shouldn't shift it on to us. In other words, my insurance rate shouldn't go up because I've had to pay for your surgery due to your work injury. Our social programs, our welfare system shouldn't have to pay out money because now you need assistance because you're not working because of a work injury. And so we shouldn't socialize those losses. Those losses should belong to the employer and not be passed on to society. And so there was a bargain between employees and employers back in the 1900s, early 1900s, which basically said, listen, employers, you are responsible for all on-the-job injuries, regardless of who's at fault. We don't care about fault anymore. We don't care if you're at fault, the employee's at fault, no one's at fault, Fred down the street is at fault. You are liable for all on-the-job injuries. And you could imagine if I said to you, hi, you are responsible for all injuries that occur at your house, regardless of whether you are at fault or not, you'd be like, whoa, what do I get? How soon do you expect me to, be out of business and lose my house because now I'm having to pay for everything? And the answer is, here's what employers get, okay? So number one, employers get immunity from lawsuits by their employees for on-the-job injuries. Number two is they only have to pay for certain benefits, and there's typically a limit on the benefits that they have to pay under workers' compensation. What do employees get? Employees get relatively fast and easy access to medical care, lost wage benefits, and other benefits without having to resort to a lot of litigation. Now, that doesn't mean there's no litigation, but it means that in general, there's a lot less in workers' compensation. And so employees get medical care, lost wages, they get covered, they don't have to prove fault. What do employers get? Immunity from lawsuits, and what they have to pay for is limited and defined. And so that is the grand bargain that is workers' compensation. And it means that the benefits that injured workers can get are limited and defined, but often they can get it without having to go to hearing, without having to prove fault. So what are those benefits, and how can an attorney help? When you've been injured on the job, there's two really important periods of time that matter and determine what kind of benefits you are. The first is from the date of injury to what's called your date of maximum medical improvement. That's basically where the doctors say, hey, we've gotten you as good as we can get you. Okay? So that's the first period. The second period is after MMI. So what rights are you entitled to during the first period? And there are basically three benefits that you're entitled to. Number one is medical care, 100% paid for. There's no copays, there's no deductibles, there's no limits. Number two, lost wage benefits. You're entitled to 2/3 of your lost wages. Now, is that 2/3 of your take-home pay? No, it's 2/3 of your gross pay. So before taking deductions for taxes, insurance, etc. So for a lot of our clients, it's close to, slightly under what their take-home used to be. And number 3 is you're entitled to mileage paid for by the insurance company to and from doctor's appointments. How can an attorney help? Well, medical care is the number one most important benefit. And the reason is because medical care, unlike almost every other benefit in workers' compensation, is not limited. Okay. And so that's why it's really important for us as your attorneys to make sure that if we can change your doctor from the company selected doctor to somebody else, we're going to fight hard to do that. Number 2, if the doctor is recommending care for you, but the insurance company is delaying authorization or denying authorization, we're going to work with you on getting that back on track. And number 3 is if the doctor is ignoring a body part or can't treat a body part that you say was injured, but the doctor says wasn't, or the doctor may say, yes, it was, but the carrier won't pay for it, we can fight to get that covered as well. So that's what we can do for medical benefits. For lost wage benefits, attorneys can help to make sure, A, if it's not getting paid, that it gets paid, B, that it's calculated properly. For example, if you're back at work earning less, it's our job to make sure that you get it. And number 3 is, so you can see, if you only get 2/3 of your lost wages, it's really important for us to make sure that your average weekly wage is calculated properly so that you are getting the proper amount of wage loss benefits. Finally, under mileage, we want to make sure that you're claiming it, because if you don't claim it timely, you're not going to get it covered, and also that it's paid properly. So those are the 3 benefits before MMI. Now let's talk about the benefits that come open after MMI, and depending on your case, they can be a lot or very little. Number 1, you're entitled to what's called maintenance medical care. If the doctors say, hey, well, there's no further medical care that's going to get you better, however, you may need medical care to maintain your condition, then we're going to fight to get that admitted to and covered. Number 2, you're entitled to what's called an impairment rating, and that is a monetary benefit to compensate you, kind of, for the fact that your body isn't back to 100%. Again, attorneys are going to help you by making sure that every body part is rated, that it's rated properly, and that the formula and the value is the highest that we can get for you. Third benefit is what's called disfigurement. If you have a scar or a brace or anything visible as a result of the injury or as a result of the treatment for the injury, like for example, they did surgery and they cut, you have a scar from your elbow down to your hand, we want to make sure that you get compensated for that. Number 4, you have a right to what's called permanent total disability, that's wage loss after MMI, if you can show that you are so disabled as a result of your work injury, you can't earn any wage anywhere in any position with any employer. Fortunately, that's a rare benefit for most injured workers, but there are some injured workers who are so disabled given their circumstances that they need to make a claim for that. And then after those benefits, there are some miscellaneous benefits which may or may not apply to you given your circumstances. For example, God forbid you die on the job due to a work injury. There's a funeral benefit. Currently, it's kind of modest. It's about $7,000, but there's talk about starting to increase that. You also have a right to reopen your claim if you get worse naturally in the future. Now, if you get worse because of a new injury, workers' compensation isn't going to cover it. But if your condition worsens, you can reopen your claim. And those are all benefits that Kaplan Morrell helps its clients get what they deserve and the most amount that they deserve for each of those benefits. And in addition to all of that, injured workers can and do settle their claims where they're pushing everything back over. They're saying, I don't want anything more. I don't want to give up my right. I want to give up my rights to anything more in exchange for a settlement. And now my case is really closed, full, final, gone in a settlement. And obviously, as attorneys, our job is to make sure that our clients get the biggest settlement that they're entitled to under the law. So hopefully this helps you understand what your benefits and rights are under workers' compensation, how an attorney like us, Kaplan Morrell, can help you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to call us, text us, you can email us, and we'd be happy to help you further. And with that, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. Bye.